we're back. The lighting might go a bit wild. I think in my head I was like, I didn't want it to be shining directly into my face, but now it's going to, so a response video to how amazing it has been having so many hairdressers and so many people that get their hair done respond to my message, my ramblings, probably more than a message. One thing that I really was just so appreciative of was people saying that they understood, and I didn't realise how much of the change that I want to see is already happening out in the world of hairdressing, with certain shops, hairdressers and spaces that are embodying that already. And it doesn't need to be so consumerism industry. It doesn't need to be a consumer industry. It can still be like a health and well-being, beauty industry, let's say. I think that's probably why it's difficult, is there's a crossover. It's health and wellness. It's definitely, there's mental health in there as well. And there's community, but it's also about feeling and looking good. And I think that's where, when it ends up being like a consumerist thing, when it becomes like a business and it's only about money, that's, I think, where I get confused or I get a bit discombobulated, because I think doing it from the heart, you can feel like that you don't want to charge. Whereas actually, if you're putting your heart and soul into something, then there needs to be a way that you're still supported financially, especially in the current climate that we're in, where I think I went to Cyprus and a tin of baked beans is €5. Mad. So my conclusion currently is there is so much change. There is so much change happening out there, and there is more change happening because of the change. It's like the waves of change. It's like we're evolving underneath, but what I can see sometimes is the struggle. But is that because I feel like I'm struggling? Am I projecting? Am I allowing that to be my reality? Am I succumbing to the fact that in this moment in time I only have a few options, when actually the options are limitless, especially if we can create the change and we can create the spaces? So my narrative now is, or my thought process is, from having all these conversations, is to create a group, or where it's like the conversations are being had, or meetups. So that would be incredible. I'm going to be starting art group meetups anyway, and I really want to do something to do with body movement, because I'm realizing that this whole thing of like isolating can make you think and believe things, when actually, when you're out having the conversations and like I say, seeing the change that's actually happening will be incredible. And support, so having the support of peers and people that understand, are in the spaces that you're in, so like collectives. But also I noticed that like having conversations with massage therapists or makeup artists, painters, photographers, people that are also having studios and are doing one-to-one client-based things to do with creativity, but that also is connected to like identity and people feeling good about themselves. So yeah, it's so interlinked. It's political. You know, I'm not necessarily like known for or a political person, but it's interesting witnessing that I'm now realizing that it's beyond the chair. So it's the current climate of like society is changing and shifting, which means, you know, we're going to change and shift. because we hold space for clients, but it's about also holding space for ourselves. And, you know, I don't think hairdressers have our hair done that often, is something that I've noticed as well. I am rocking the one length. I am rocking the one length that maybe gets a trim, but it gets treatments all the time. But it's noticing that as well. So it's actually self-care. It's just, it's a human necessity. It's like eating the right food. It's having massages, you know, and this is all humans in general. And all of us create this beautiful world, right? Like I had a bestie down yesterday who's a hairdresser, and we did a circuit of my life in a day, and it made me really, really realise and appreciate that the people that I love to go and sit at the coffee shop and write my notes, like I love watching their business evolve, and I love seeing the things that they're doing. And there's so the coffee shop is Spro, love, shout out Spro. And there's a place called Love Fit, which is a cafe that really specialises in high protein and healthy food. And even like those little, like the eye contact or the like, oh, how are you, is just, that is part of all of our community. So it doesn't matter that these people aren't hairdressers. I think I forgot that the community, it ripples out, and we all have each other, you know. And I've been talking to a hairdresser's called Pegs, which is up in Kent Town, and I'm lending them my hair chair because they're having some that are fixed. And there's also a guy called James on their street, and he does hair. He's lovely. It's so, all of them so talented, and we're all like helping each other out, and he's lending a chair as well. And you know, there's so much community out here, and I think I internalized a lot and got very like in my own, like I'm trying to give and I can't receive. Like I am receiving, and I'm able to give because I'm receiving daily from the experience that I have here in Brighton. And my clients are amazing, and they've followed me for years, and this isn't a new thing where I have like mini existentials and I'm confused at what I'm doing in the industry, and I want to give love, and through, you know, doing hair as a medium, and I know I have more to give, and I get very philosophical, and we untangle the minds and the realities of like what everyone is going through, including myself. And my clients are also very much a part of my own therapeutic work, in the sense where I wouldn't have evolved as a person without them and their experiences. So it's a regenerative, you know, experience, and in its compounding and going in and out. It's like a torus, right? So for us to evolve, for me to evolve, the city's evolving, my clients are evolving, the times are evolving, people are moving. I'm getting older. My client base will change, not because of age itself, but just because of, you know, what I'm doing now. And I'm sober. So I love the way I said that, like I'm sober, like it's a choice. I can definitely have a drink if I want to, but currently it feels really good to be finding different ways to kind of either release how I'm feeling stress-wise, or, you know, process it, rather than drinking, because I love chaos, but I love going out and dancing and really being present. Whereas for myself, if I do drink, it won't be with dinner. It's more like a margarita, just to be like, you know. Whereas I don't necessarily need that at the moment anymore. So my client base is also reflecting that. So we're kind of either all going sober, or I'm just finding people that are like sober curious, or maybe the conversations are changing. So it's not necessarily in that framework anymore, which again isn't a bad thing. But I think this is why with hairdressing, we all have a space. It's not going to be like 4 hairdressers for the whole world. It's going to be, you are who you are, and your tribe, we're perfectly entwined for our client base, and that will also change and navigate, just like how hairdressing spaces change and are there specifically for the clientele that suit those spaces. Basically, what I'm realizing is if I want to see a change, and I believe that, I want to see a change that suits me specifically, it's about trusting the fact that I can create that space. And I've had a dream and an idea, and I know that I can do it. It's believing in it, and it's trusting that if I know that that's something that I can create and curate and create in and evolve, then I will find those people that also believe and feel that that is what they need to be in to have their services, their haircuts, or that, tea, or those chats about health and well-being, or that there are massage rooms as well attached to it, or there's like red light therapy included, or there's a sauna, or, it's knowing that if I create the world that I'm living in, then I can create a world that I want to live in. And I believe that for all of us. I believe that we are all living in a narrative that maybe we were taught was the right thing. And this is why there is the guilt is because we want to break free, but we feel guilt to do that, let's say, or family members don't necessarily believe, so we're looking for outward validation. And I think instant validation and instant quick fixes are easier in this society, say like smoking, drinking, chaos in those kind of sets. But actually putting in the work, like going to the gym, or even today I've been putting off going to the seafront in the morning. And I was like, do you know what? You don't have to go for a run straight away, but just walk down there. Just walk down there and see what it's like. And it was bliss. And I think it's like removing the perfectionism in it. Like, yes, I didn't go for a run this morning, but I saw the sea and I saw how close it was. Or making these videos, they're not edited. I don't know how to edit them. They don't have music. It's a film and it's an upload. I've got to just do what I can do and deal with that. But it's the doing it. It's the trusting it's the right thing, and it's believing in it. And again, we will find the people that need, it's not even need, that relate to it, that will bounce off of it, that will gain from it and utilize that, and it ripples into society. So I think this video, what I wanted to say is I'm grateful I was vulnerable. I am grateful that I am exactly where I am right now, even though society would say in my nearly 20 years, which I need to get my certificate. I think I mentioned it before, I don't have a certificate. But let's get that framed. But, I'm grateful that I'm starting again, because we're all in cycles and it's regenerative, and in 2 years again, I won't be the person I am today, but I'll be a version that is meant to be. I'll be that version I'm meant to be. And the people in our lives change. Thank goodness. I have the people around me at the moment that make the most sense, that are beyond supportive, and sometimes they test me, and I need that. I can't have people around me saying yes all the time. I need people around me that make me question and think about things. So something I would recommend as well is I went to something called Seed Talks, which was a whole thing on neuroscience and creativity. There was a whole big chat about creative people and people. Something that I wanted to say, and if you want to watch it back online, I don't know if they record them, but I ask a question in it, but I'll leave that to you guys to find, or I'll find a link and I'll put it here. But my thoughts on the separation of creative people and people is, but we are all creating this existence. There isn't a separation. You don't need to be painting, writing, drawing. You getting up and creating a life is being a creative person. So I just genuinely believe that our thoughts and our behaviours create exactly what is happening in front of us. So if I can think and believe that I will create the perfect space and the perfect, life, then I will. If I am suffering and I'm decided I'm suffering, then I am. If I am grateful, then I'm grateful. If I am angry, then I'm angry. But like, feelings move and process, so it's about expressing them. And segue to it being relative to hair. Our hair is essentially what we ingest, and it grows. So you can find your medicine, you can find the food you eat. It's like a memory. It's a memory lane, isn't it? But this is why it's such a intense, beautiful thing to have your hair cut, which is something I want to talk about actually in another video, is the connection with hair, with different, cultures and spirituality and things like that. I knew 2 years ago when I opened my first salon space in a church, I knew that the future me would have really long hair. I just knew it, and I knew at that point I had to grow it to now. And it's interesting that we can kind of see the future sometimes. So I would say, like, if you can, notice your communities around you, be grateful for the things that are being created for you and how you are making a difference every day. You are part of making a difference every day in people's lives. Whether you work in a coffee shop, whether you own your own business, whether you are a client of somebody else's, whether you're getting a massage or giving a massage and that's your job, like, energetically, we are part of creating this existence. So, like, even as a cute little thing today, maybe pop in the comments something or 3 things you're grateful for. And also just, thank you for listening. And I'm so grateful for the fact that I have the ability to know really what's best for me. Sometimes I am not doing it, but most of the time there is a valid reason. And sometimes there's an excuse, but at least now I know the difference. So, follow along. Love Your Hair on Instagram. Going to be figuring out like a new pathway. I want to interview some people as well about this, because I have some amazing hairdressers that are in my life that are doing amazing things, really. And I think the industry is changing, like I say. It's changing. We are all changing. I am changing. And I don't think it's about just trends. This was something that I brought up in the Seed Talks, is a trend or something going viral will be like a false sense of community, of a hive mind. And it's safer to be in a trend because there's a lack of judgment. But breaking free from just doing things that are in a trend is a scary thing. And that is vulnerability. And that is just being unique. And we are all inherently unique already, naturally. So we actually just need to do less. Which is a relief. Is that not a relief? Do less. So I'm going to end on that. And today I'm going to do less. I'm going to exist. I am going to do my chores, and I'm going to plan the week. So thank you so much. I'm going to try and get this exactly on 20, and then I'm going to post it.